Welcome back, Truth Seeker. Sunday, January 27th, 2019. What I want to remind everybody is tomorrow night, Monday, I'm moving my podcast from the afternoon to the evening time. The podcast will begin Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. It'll be at least an hour each night, and it'll be a caller-friendly podcast. Again, put the Gematria hotline out there. The number is 509-731-0567. Again, 509-731-0567. Save that number because it'll always be that number. What's up, JP? So, to participate in the live podcast nightly, what you're going to have to do is sign up for the Patreon page. And it's just $1 a month. $1 a month gets you signed up. And then you can participate in the live discussions Monday through Friday night. Plus all the other content that I put on Patreon. I do more than just the live stream. Gematria School, sports decodes, teach how to decode sports, put out free written content. Well, free if you're a member. Because that's not exactly free. But you get a lot for $1. And right now I have tiers. $1 gets you the podcast plus some other stuff. $2 gets you some sports content. $5 gets you all the sports information. $11 gets you everything. And what I want to do is get 10,000 people signed up here at $1 a month. And then I'm just going to flatten all the tier prices out. $1 will be the tier price for everything. And I keep saying, when this gets to $10,000, I'm going to hire the first employee. You know, I want to hire a full-time employee to help me out, somebody who has the technical skills to do the things that I can't, to help take this work to the next level. And then hopefully grow the audience, build up the revenue, and hire enough people until we have a legitimate Gematria Effect news agency. So, again, the goal is to get 10,000 people pledged at $1 a month. Then we'll flatten out the tier price. You'll get all content for $1. And what would be nice if we had a community of 10,000 people here active who care about this knowledge and spreading this knowledge, Gematria, which not enough people are doing in the truth community. What would be nice is, you know, we could start to build some real networks, find out who really cares, who's dedicated. So, to sign up for Patreon, the link is in the description of every video, or you can just type in patreon.com/Zachary K. Hubbard, click the Become a Patron button, and that'll bring you to this tier price. And if you just want the podcast, just $1 a month. And again, once there's enough people here, I'll just make it a flat rate, $1 for everything. So that is the goal. For all the people already signed up, thank you so much. Again, the people who came here and signed up in August, they helped turn this whole thing around. If you don't know the timeline of events, things were pretty much at rock bottom in August. I'd been doing this research for over 5 years. I'd put out a book in March. No one had bought it. I found out that the school district that I'm now living in, I moved because my girl's going to school out here. They gave me a statement saying that I wasn't qualified to work in their school district, even though I have a master's degree, good experience, good references, always done a great job. They wouldn't give me any reason why they couldn't hire me. And keep in mind, I'm in the worst school district in all of Washington State right now. They need good teachers. But it was obvious what the reason was. It's because of this work I put out online. So I couldn't get a job. No one was buying the book. I'd been doing this for over 5 years for free. And then I had the FBI come knock at my door and accuse me of doing something that I hadn't done. And then, you know, my girl, she was so upset that day. She's like, look at this. It's like it's ruined your whole life. You can't even do anything. You need to stop. You need to move on. You need to do something else. And I was about to, but then I just uploaded one more video. I said, you guys, this is probably the end of the road right here, unless some people step up and either support the Patreon or come out and get the book. And it was like a waterfall all of a sudden. And really grateful for all the people who responded. But I know that there's tens of thousands of people out there who've benefited from this knowledge. A lot of people in the world who've made a lot of money off this knowledge in the world of sports. I need those people to come back and just invest $1 a month. $1 a month. And understand, the money that's flowing in, it's just getting put back into this cause, you know. And honestly, right now, how much I'm making a month, I'm amazed. I mean, I don't need to make this much money a month. I'm just saving it all right now with the plan of eventually getting this Gematria News Network off the ground. But, when it comes to hiring people and traveling and going to things, I mean, this money only goes so far. So it's going to have to be a lot bigger revenue stream to fulfill the dream. But, $1 at a time, one person at a time willing to step up to the plate can make it happen. So for all you people in the chat, in case you missed what I was saying, tomorrow night, Monday, the new podcast time starts. It's been in the afternoon. It's getting moved to the evening time. I'm thinking more people will participate in the evening. It's going to start at 7 p.m. Pacific, Monday through Friday. That's 10 Eastern. If you're in a different time zone, just do the math. I'm out here on the West Coast, so I talk in Pacific time. $1 a month is the sign-up price to get you all of the podcast plus more. Also, right now, what I'm doing for a limited time is if you pledge $5, you can also pick up the book. And if you come here and pledge $5, you'll get all the podcasts, all the sports decodes, the Super Bowl pick, plus a whole lot more. And you just come to this post right here, dated January 27th, and click the link. That'll download the book instantly. So, the purchase price for the book is typically $5. For a limited time on here, you get the book and a month subscription to Patreon. Yeah, I know about the book and Behrendt Trump. I covered it years ago. Most things, you guys, I've covered a long time ago. You guys have to realize I'm here not 5 days a week. I'm here 7 days a week for over 5 years straight. Most things I have covered in this community in a long time ago. Yeah, for all of you who get more than $1 a month, I'm grateful for it, but I'd like for you guys to just have to give $1 a month so that you can reduce your donation cost. I'd like to see more people stepping up and less people having to invest very much money. 10 p.m. Eastern is the time. 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern, Monday through Friday. And if you can't participate in the live stream, you can always watch it after. Gematria School, like I said, for the last couple weeks, I've been posting the Gematria School on Tuesday, and I said we'll start Gematria School again when I'm done writing the book. So it's not done; it's just done until I'm finished writing the book. And I just keep posting the lessons 1 through 9 because I imagine most people haven't watched all of those lessons yet. And there's nearly 30 hours of video there between those 9 lessons of Gematria School. Yeah, you can sign up on Patreon with PayPal, I believe. I believe it takes PayPal. Multiple ways to sign up on Patreon. So the other thing I want to talk about is what we should do about this censorship. How are we going to overcome this Google censorship since they have the monopoly on the web and information? Almost. If anybody has any ideas for what to do to overcome the censorship, please call in. The number's 509-731-0567. Again, 509-731-0567. I really want to go knock on the door of Google. But it's going to take more than one person showing up there. So the book's coming. I should be done about the middle of next month. And then it takes 2 to 3 months to get it in print. This one will definitely be in print. I'm not going to put any information in there or anybody's headlines or anything or give them any reason to say it can't be printed. So you think to contact the politicians, huh? I'm not sure. I don't think politicians really do anything. I think those politicians, they just occupy seats and act like they're doing something. When are they going to start arresting the elites? Well, those would have to be citizen arrests. You can't expect the government and police who are here to defend those people to do anything about it. Thank you, Jorge. Appreciate that, man. Well, thanks for hopping in, Cassie. Igor, you got to sign up for Patreon. I don't put out sports picks anymore for free. I'm sorry you burnt your cookies. That's too bad. Funny. So I take it nobody's got the solution for the censorship. That's all right. I don't have the solution either. But yeah, I mean, my channel, I'm thinking about just stopping this channel and making a new YouTube channel. This channel's worse right now than when I started it in July. When I had, when I started the channel, this is the 18th channel. When I started brand new, it was a better channel than it is now. Like almost no one's getting notifications. I mean, back in September when I got this computer so that I could do live streams, it didn't work on my old computer. I didn't have that many subscribers built back up yet. And I'd start the live stream and there'd be like 500 people in the room. How many people are in this live stream right now? How do I see? 87 watching. That's what I mean. Nobody's getting any notifications. It's hard to get a video to even 1,000 views. So it's like this channel's worse than a brand new channel at this point. It's so censored. Yeah, Saradwin says they never, you and everybody else, nobody's getting notifications. I mean, this channel is a joke. I might as well have 0 subscribers on this channel. There are no other platforms that matter. Plus, all the other platforms censor too. BitChute censors. VidMe got taken down, but even before VidMe got taken down, they were censoring. I got my channel deleted on VidMe. So, and nobody watches anything besides YouTube anyway. So it's a waste of time to even go anywhere else. And even if you have your own website, I mean, it's hard to get people to go to your own website. So it's like, that's the problem. Even Google with all the censorship is still better than most other things. I wonder when you guys got a notification though, because I waited extra minutes from when it was supposed to start and nobody was in here. And I was like, well, I'll just start it and see if people start to come in. So, like I said, in September when I was rebuilding the channel and I had like 5,000 subscribers, there'd be 500 people watching the live stream. Now we're at 50,000 and it's hard to even get 100 people in here. So, that's also the other reason I want you guys to get signed up on Patreon and be on the schedule, because then you'll just know what time the live stream is. You'll just be able to get in there consistently, and you won't need to wait for the notification. You'll just know what time it's happening at. No, they're censoring through the channel. It's just like, they flag the channel. They're like, okay, this channel's in lockdown mode. Even if you click the bell, you're still not going to get notifications. People leave the comments all the time. I have your bell clicked. I still don't get any notifications. Ever since September, the channel's been on about the end of September, the channel's been on lockdown mode. When I had those 2 videos go viral about John McCain and Bush's upcoming death, ever since then, the channel's been pretty much dead. So And that's just the other reminder. That's why it's like this movement has to move past the internet. They can censor on the web, you know. So it needs to be an in-person thing. It needs to be like a traveling from city to city and getting people to come out and get involved off the internet, you know. I don't like Q. I mean, like all things. I mean, Q puts out some good information, but Q is legitimizing. Look, okay, so here's what I'm gonna say about Q. You guys, we live in a slave state. That's what this nation is, a slave state. Q is telling people to, participate in the slave state. Q's telling people that Donald Trump's here to save us. We're never going to be saved by our government. Our government's what has us enslaved. So anything that's advocating for politics or religion, Q doesn't advocate so much for religion, but a lot of people in the truth community do. These people are all contributing to keeping us in the slave state. And, Donald Trump is a complete fraud, a puppet on strings, someone born for the throne. And Q is not telling its followers that. Q is making it seem, Q is an obviously well-constructed thing to take advantage of the majority of the population in the online truth community, which is conservative, Christian, right-leaning, anti-Clinton. That's where Q's at. And, it's a problem. Q's keeping people trapped in the box. So people need to understand the only way we're ever going to get free is by abolishing this government we have, and these major corporations. The two things that contribute to the fascism and the slave state we live under. Someone asked how much my new book is going to be. I don't know what the price is going to be yet, but what I did do is I put out a pre-order. If you go to my videos and search for new book, you'll see the pre-order video I did about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And I said, if you do a PayPal donation and email me at the email I put in the pre-order, if you send me $25, I'll send you at least one book when it's out, but I'm guessing I'll be able to send people at least two because I'm imagining that the cost of the book is going to be around $10. And if I can get the cost of the book down to like $5, then I'll send you, probably 4 books plus the shipping cost. So $25 for a pre-order. That's going to get you at least one book, likely multiple copies. And I said, if you want signed copies, you need to do a pre-order for $50 and let me know what you want to write in there, unless you just want me to write a heartfelt message. So here, I guess to answer that question real quick, and again, to educate about how YouTube, how to search for somebody's video. So if you go to a channel you like and you click the videos tab, I don't think this is on your cell phone, but it is on a computer. This magnifying glass will show up. And if you search keywords, new book, okay, that didn't work. I thought that would bring it up. Hold on, you got to search the right thing. News by the numbers 2018, is that what I titled it? That's what the new book's going to be. Oh, there it is. So if you search pre-order, it'll come up too. This is posted 3 weeks ago. So if you go to this video and watch this, it's the directions for how to pre-order the book. And make sure you follow the directions, because it's crucial to make sure that I get it sent to you when it's done. And I should be done writing it about the middle of next month. It'll take 2 to 3 months for it to be in print. So the new book will be out middle of April or middle of May, somewhere in there. And it's not going to be nearly as long as the first book, that's for sure. It'll be much shorter. And then I'm still going to keep working at trying to get the first book in print. I might have to edit it and take out all the news headlines, which will be quite a chore. But that book does need to eventually get in print. So Yeah, Desert Cat says no notification at all. Yeah, that's how they've killed this channel. Nobody gets any notifications. How many of you guys know how many videos I put out today? Because they've hardly got any views. You guys know how many videos I put out today? Yeah, I'm thinking about just scrapping this channel and just making a new channel. Today I put out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 videos today. And you know, they have views on par with when I started the channel up for the first time. So it might be well, and then even if I just start a new channel, I mean, it'll just be a matter of time before it's censored too. So somebody's been watching me all throughout college. Very cool. I wish YouTube existed when I was in college. What about Brandon O'Connell? I don't have an opinion on him. I think he's just another guy out here trying to get out the truth. Him and I never interacted. I'm aware of who he is. Um, I don't watch a lot of other YouTube channels because most stuff that people are talking about, I'm already aware of. So, but yeah, I mean, he seems like he's fighting the right fight, and he's got some real passion. Um, he doesn't cover Gematria, but then again, who does? So. The video where I called the Washington Post. So if you can do the search thing, search phone call. I know I put phone call in the title of that video. It wasn't the one from 4 months ago. It definitely wasn't 4 months ago. Let's see. 3 weeks ago. It was probably this one right here. Or it could have been this one. Hold on. It's got to be one of these two. It's got to be one of these two right here. The problem is when I do these podcasts, there's so many topics I cover, I can't get them all in the title. So what would be cool is if somebody out there, and you guys are welcome to do this, you're welcome to download my videos and reshare them. You're welcome to chop up my videos and just put little bits and pieces out there. So it's near the end. If you want to go to these videos and search, it's near the end of the video when I make the phone call. I talk about the death of Gary Webb, and then I call Jeff Lean at the Washington Post. So have you guys seen when I called the ADL? Ah, I got to do some phone calls this week. I'm going to call Camilla Harris's office back. Her secretary was pretty good, Camilla Harris. She listened when I was putting down the knowledge, but I never got a call back from Camilla Harris, which is no surprise. Yeah, poor Robert Roberts. He doesn't even work at the NFL anymore. And now when I call there, everybody acts like they don't know who he is. I'm like, you don't remember when you had Robert Roberts here? Makes me think that was just like a made up name with a voice answering service. Was there ever really a Robert Roberts? Can I go over the word wizard? I don't know all the magic of the word wizard. I'm sure there is a lot to it, but I don't have the answer off the top of my head. You want to just look at the gematria of wizard? Here, I guess we can just look real quick. The gematria of wizard. 81, the ritual number, 36. Makes me think of, whenever I see 36, I think of 666, the 36th triangular number. When I think of wizard, I think of KKK, You have to look at the etymology. I'm sure there's more there. I got to get back in contact with the astrology guy. I told him to call me anytime. He hasn't called me in forever. So, you know, I don't know if he got busy in his own life, but I haven't heard from him for a while. He can come back anytime he wants. I told him that. There's a train wreck. I didn't hear about the train wreck. Halftime show tribute this time. Somebody just called in and hung up. If you meant to, if you call in here, you should probably do the thing where it blocks your number because your number will show up on the screen unless you don't care. But if you meant to call in just now, I didn't hang up on you, but the call, I was about to answer and then it just hung up. So maybe it was an accident. Derek's just been focusing on other things in life. I think he's been kind of going through a hard time. You know, it's the winter months, it's the grayer months. So I'm sure he'll come back when he's ready. Gematrinator. So you guys, a lot of people will text and say Gematrinator is down. You guys are probably getting this message right here. Sometimes the server that Gematria is on gets really bad, and what you just have to keep doing is just keep refreshing the screen. Sometimes you might have to do it like 10 times and it'll eventually come up, you see? So it's not down when it gives that message, it's just glitchy. And you just got to keep refreshing. Thanks, Vic. Appreciate the compliment. Any thoughts on the Super Bowl score? I'll probably put that out on Patreon. So, well, LeBron James, he's going to come back for the next game against the 76ers. So that means if LeBron plays the rest of the games this season, LeBron 66, Lakers is 66. He missed 16 games. So if he plays every game this season except for the 16 he missed, he'll play 66 games this season. LeBron James is also 66. Remember, they call him King James. The King James Bible, 66 books. King James is born in 1566. And remember, LeBron's 34 years old now. He hasn't played yet at age 34. He's played 34 games so far this year with the Lakers. Injuries 34. Tonight's a span of 34 days from the injury, and tonight's the last game he's going to miss. Then he's going to come back for Philadelphia, the city that's named in the Bible in the 66th book. And last year when LeBron was on the Cavs, the Lakers and the Cavs played each other in their 66th game of the season for both teams. So it's a riddle. You know, LeBron's missing 16 games with Los Angeles. Los Angeles is 53, the 16th prime number. And LeBron James' next game back will be his 35th. 35th, King James 35. All the wars around the world around 1812. Well, New World Order, you know. There's been a lot of wars around the world nonstop for centuries. So if you sign up at $1 a month, you get the daily podcast plus a few other things I put out. Like yesterday, I put out some cheat sheets for sports, in case you're into sports. Maroon 5. I covered the day they announced Maroon 5 for the Super Bowl. You know why? It was look at this. If you guys don't use my blog, it's a good place to come search for stuff. hold on, I'll just go through all of this right here. So for joining Maroon 5 is Big Boy, who's from Atlanta. The Super Bowl's in Atlanta. Notice Big Boy is going to turn 44 years old 2 days before the Super Bowl. Big Boy's 44. Georgia's 44. The Super Bowl's on a date with 44 numerology. And then the other guy they got is the rapper Travis Scott. And his name is 131 like Super Bowl. He's from Houston. Houston's also 112 like Super Bowl. Jared Goff is going to be in the Super Bowl 112 days after his birthday. And from his birthday to the Super Bowl is 40 weeks. Travis Scott's also 40. But hold on, let's get the Maroon 5 thing here. So Maroon 5 has Gematria 53 like Vesica Pisces, also like Los Angeles. Again, our Super Bowl teams. Los Angeles, 53. Also 37. Patriots, 37, 53. Remember the Boston Red Sox won the World Series 99 days before the Super Bowl. Boston, LA, World Series and Super Bowl. Anyway, Maroon 5 singer, he's from LA. And let's see here. The day that the announcement was made for Maroon 5 was September 19th. From that day to the Super Bowl was 137 days in Satanic Gematria. NFL's 137. 137 is the 33rd prime. The Super Bowl's on the 33rd parallel in ATL. And the singer for Maroon 5, Adam Levine, from his birthday to the Super Bowl is 322 days later, which is funny because American football is credited to Walter Camp, who went to Yale and was likely a member of Skull and Bones, which identifies by 322. Remember what happened this year on the NFL season on the 322nd day of the year? There was that really weird ritual with Alex Smith, getting his leg snapped by J.J. Watt, whose birthday was March 22nd. How it was perfectly synced up with Joe Theismann and Lawrence Taylor. So that's why you got Maroon 5 and Super Bowl 53. And for your ref's 53-year-old John Perry. He's 53 years old and his name equals 53. They don't play around with these rituals. They do not. Oh, of course, we got the Enigma report now. Hey, Enigma report. If you guys haven't, Enigma report, just since you're here, some advice. I think you should change your channel name. I don't know why you called it the Enigma report, because a lot of people are going to look at that and be like, wait a minute, what's this guy really about? Unless you got a good reason for that. And the other thing is, man, you're good at speaking and analyzing things. You should spend more of your time on, stuff that actually matters that's going on in the world. And you do that, but I'm just saying spend less time on these shills and critiquing them, because trust me, you're never going to build your channel up that way. But for people who are here in the chat, you should check this guy out, the Enigma report. He's got a good mind. And yeah, he's well-spoken. So I think he's going to go places. The satellite genocide. I haven't heard about that. No news on Ruth Bader Ginsburg yet. It looks like it's going to be another day, but it's not going to be too far off. That's for certain. Okay, yeah, and you guys, I was going to make an announcement about this. I've talked to this to the people on my Patreon. Life has happened to me in the last month or so. My grandmother, she's on her last days right now, and when you're on your last days in this world, it brings up serious financial expenses, and right now I have the burden of that. And anyway, it's probably going to delay the DC trip. Plus, when she does go, my dad is going to need help with taking care of her place and doing stuff. So I'm going to postpone the DC trip for a little bit. Might have to be later this year. So it is not going to happen, though, in April right now. Jennifer only has 6 Patreons. She needs more. Well, Jennifer, maybe you should start spreading the Gematria knowledge, because see, Gematria has an audience that's willing to invest in the truth. And that's what I keep telling some of these other people. You know, Jennifer and I both had a bad experience with Adam Green. We went on his thing and then he made fun of us and, liked all the troll comments. And he was saying to me off the interview, he's like, "Man, I can't believe how many people you got on your Patreon." And I said, "Well, people really care about this knowledge I put out. You should start sharing it. It might help you build your audience." And what did Adam Green do? He ended up deleting my interview because he said it was kooky. Supposedly the guy that's trying to expose Zionism, he doesn't want to put out the knowledge that they work by every single day. I don't want to talk too much about that guy, but man, what a little girl he is. And apologies to all the women, but my goodness, that guy is a joke. Yeah, there's some serious overlap with John Perry and Tom Brady. And at Los Angeles as well, because don't forget Los Angeles, California is 118 on the 118th meridian. The fire's on 11/8. That's a good point, Jared. Jared makes a good point here in the chat. He writes, anyone notice of how the fire at the Comet Pizza shop are both things talked about in a single statement by con man Walter Trump in the Trackdown episode? That's a really good observation. I was pointing out when Pizzagate first broke that it was, obviously connected to the narrative. It came out around the time of the election, and it was going after Hillary Clinton. And it was very, political. And I was saying to people, I was like, come on, you guys. Child sex trafficking is a real thing. Hillary Clinton is not the kingpin of child sex trafficking in the world. This is just another thing meant to take the truth and associate it with something ridiculous and put it on a carrot on a stick and make the truth community look ridiculous. And I said, just watch. They're going to start censoring out of this because look at the Wall Street Journal article. The Wall Street Journal put up an article just after that news broke about how YouTube, how they needed to squelch all the voices, of people like myself and just make it so that mainstream establishment news media is what came up at the top of feeds. And that's pretty much how it all is now. But yeah, that Pizzagate, it's amazing to me how people can't see through these things. So people are always predicting the big earthquake in the Pacific Northwest. I mean, it'll happen eventually. Like I keep saying, they've been saying, BBC or not BBC, PBS. It's probably around 2009. PBS, it's still part of it's still on YouTube. PBS put out a documentary around 2009 about how Seattle will be the first major city to experience an earthquake near 10 magnitude, which is off the charts. And growing up in the Pacific Northwest, they've been telling us our whole lives that we're going to get this horrible earthquake someday. I'm wondering if this could be the year at some point, because quake equals 19, Seattle equals 19, chaos equals 19. So it could be. Jeremy said he figured out how to get the paper edition of my book in the mail. I'm guessing he used something like Lulu to do that himself, but he's going to put up a video. So be sure to check out Jeremy White's channel. That's JHW3D. The thing just jumped down, but I saw Jeremiah Gabbard asked if, there it is. He says, I was wondering if you think they laid out the roads and interstates to this code. Yeah, absolutely. Learn Gematria, learn to do it in your head, and just notice the mileage distance they put on road signs to cities. It's amazing how often the distance that's written will be the Gematria of the city. It's that way all over the nation. So a lot of things are cleverly thought out. Yeah, and I wish I had more examples off the top of my head, but so often we've been looking at like, things in the news, things that happen right off a road, and The numbers on the road have to do with, you know, the numbers in the story. So, yeah, absolutely. Kel says, "Why don't you get the announcement when I? Why don't they get the announcement when I go live? Because nobody is. It's called censorship. This is how they've destroyed the channel. You know, in September when I was rebuilding the channel and I had 5,000 subscribers, starting up channel 18. You know, I'd go on a live stream. There'd be 500 people here. Now I have 50,000 people, and it takes like an hour to get to 100. I mean, that's because nobody's getting a notification. Almost nobody." Jen Duncan says he bought the book on Etsy. Are you saying you're a member on Patreon too? If so, thank you. But if you're asking if you bought the book on Etsy and that made you a member on Patreon, unfortunately, no, because Patreon's a separate thing, and you have to sign up through Patreon. So, yeah, sorry about your grandmother. Yeah, my grandmother's that magic number right now, 83, just like the year I was born in. And I'm wondering if she's going to make it to 84. Her birthday's July 1st. So, so McEstes is asking about the 612 thing, and that's a number that shows up a lot in mass shootings. Hey, McEstes, you really should pick up my book, because what's nice about it being an ebook, here, let me just do this real quick. What's nice about it being an ebook is it makes it so it's easy to search, because I mean, it's a massive book, but since it's a PDF, you can search. So I'm pretty sure if I put in 612, it should, let's see. But all these occurrences of 612 are in here. So like, here's this paragraph that pulls up. So I'm talking about the Stoneman Douglas shooting after Super Bowl 52, because again, Stoneman Douglas was named after a woman who's from Minneapolis, the 612 area code. And here, let me just read this right here. As you know, 113 is a number of mainstream deception. The same number was further coded into the school through its alternate name, Stoneman Douglas Eagles, equating to 113 with reverse reduction, or Marjorie Stoneman Douglas Eagles, summing to 113 in reduction. And don't forget, Stoneman Douglas High School is also 113 in reduction, just like Sandy Hook Elementary School's 113. Just like how when the Stoneman Douglas shooting happened, the first image they put out was a bunch of students walking in a line with their hands on each other's shoulders, just like they did at Sandy Hook. Even further, Eagles has reverse ordinal gematria of 113 alone. Consider this shooting came just days after the Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl on February 4th, 2018 over the Patriots, exactly 113 weeks after last facing them, December 6th, 2015, a date that can be expressed as 6/12. This matters because the Philadelphia Eagles won Super Bowl 53 in the 612 area code, which is Minneapolis, Minnesota. In the case of Stoneman Douglas High School, it is named after the woman Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, who was born in Minneapolis. The reason we can be certain that none of this is coincidental is because of how the number 612 factored into the shooting. Consider it came 612 days after the Pulse nightclub shooting, also in Florida, of June 12, 2016, a date which can be written 6/12. Further, in the wake of the nightclub shooting in Orlando, the motto became Orlando Strong, having a Jewish gematria of 612. Even more, the Stoneman Douglas shooting came on Valentine's Day, and Valentine has Sumerian gematria of 612. The number connecting to police. Police is 612. Now take a moment to think about it. First, it was the Pulse nightclub, and a pulse is related to a heart and its beat. Second, with the heart in mind, its relationship with Valentine goes without saying. Again, Pulse nightclub shooting in Florida synced up with the Valentine's Day shooting. Let us now take a moment to fully appreciate the significance of 612 and major false flag shootings over the years that have spurred legal changes across the globe as part of an ongoing New World Order agenda. The Ecole Polytech Massacre of December 6, 6/12, 1989. Dune Blaine Massacre equals 612 in Jewish gematria. That was the elementary school shooting that got gun rights taken away in the UK. Columbine High School equals 612 in Jewish gematria. From Dune Blaine to the shooting of Sandy Hook was 6,120 days, 612. From Pulse nightclub shooting to Stoneman Douglas shooting was 612 days. Orlando Strong equals 612 in Jewish gematria. Valentine equals 612 in Sumerian. Police equals 612 in reverse Sumerian. And since I wrote this book, they coded this number in another Texas shooting, which I'd have to go back and look at. I think that was sometime fall of 2018. This book released in March of last year. So again, you learn the code, you see how the patterns persist. And of course, we'll see more of this in time. What's my thinking on the flat earth theory? I'm not a big fan of the flat earth theory. It doesn't really make any sense to me, knowing that from opposite hemispheres you see different constellations. I don't know how that would be possible on a flat earth. And there's a number of other problems with the flat earth to me. So I've always thought that the flat earth was a psychological operations to discredit the truth community. And it's been viral since it got here. It's been the most viral thing in the truth community since it came the summer of 2015. It really blew up that summer. And I lost a lot of followers because I didn't jump on board. Some of my most loyal people at the time said, "Oh, I don't care about your work anymore if you're not going to say the Earth's flat." And I was like, well, I'm not going to say the Earth's flat. I can't prove that the Earth's flat, and it doesn't make any sense to me. And I don't know what arguing about the shape of the Earth does for getting out of the slave state. So yeah, Pizzagate did equal 666. That was something I pointed out to people right away, you know. And that was something that went super viral too. Anytime something goes viral in the truth community, like Flat Earth, like Pizzagate, like Q, I would be weary of those things because they don't let things that are actually helping people go viral. The things that go viral are things that they want people to get caught up in. And a lot of people are saying, well, what do you think now, Zach, now that they're censoring Flat Earth from YouTube? And I say, well, look at the way the paragraphs are all written in all these mainstream articles. They have Flat Earth right next to questioning 9/11. You know, they're saying it in the same breath. YouTube's banning people who say the Earth's flat and question 9/11. And that doesn't come as any surprise to me. It seems like that was the whole point of the Flat Earth movement, you know, to put it on the level, to make it seem that questioning the government, questioning 9/11 is just as ridiculous. And anyway. Somebody wrote that Adam Green is being blamed for the fire at the Comet Pizza. Again, if you guys missed the video I put out on that fire on January 23rd, 123, Conspiracy 123, check out that video. But, you know, Adam Green and his whole reaction to I mean, he's just talking about making a mountain out of a molehill. Somebody posted on Twitter that he looked like the guy who burned the place. I mean, who cares? You know, look at what's been done to me over the time. I've had people make videos saying I'm the Boston Marathon bomber. I'm some guy named Joshua Greenblatt. You know, all sorts of things. A guy keeps making videos about me on another channel saying I'm not a real person. I'm an artificial intelligence. I mean, who cares? It's just like, just ignore it, man. Hopefully it brings more people your way. And, you know, I keep seeing the way that guy reacts. Look, I don't want to talk about this guy more, but I know that he's a fraud. I mean, he just came out recently and he stared at the ground. He said, I don't work for the government. And then he told this story about how he got detained when he went into Israel. I know that's a lie because I talked to him privately on the phone after that happened. And he said he was surprised that they let him get in and out without any problem. So that was the story when it happened. He thought there was going to be problems. They let him in and out, no problem. Now, months later, now he has this big story about how he got detained and questioned and was sweating. dude's a fraud, man. And, he's a drama queen, and, he's making it seem like it's the end of the world because somebody said that he looks like the guy who burned the pizza shop. I mean, dude, grow a pair. Serdwin, you're an $11 member. I'll repost the book, the reworked book too. The book that's up there for $5 isn't the reworked one. Eventually I'll put it out at $5. But I kept the reworked book as a special thing that's only available to the people who are signed up at the $11 tier, like you. So I posted that. I'll post it again because it's been weeks since I posted it. You'd have to scroll down the page a ways to find it. For all the people saying Gematrinator is down, it's just having a rough weekend. It's not down. So this keeps happening to a lot of people. You're going there and this is happening. What you have to do is you have to keep refreshing the page until it works. That time it only took one refresh. Sometimes you'll have to refresh it 5 times, but it'll show up. So it's not down. It's just not running well. No, Denim, I'm not at 10,000 members, man. We're trying to get the Patreon up to 10,000 people signed up at $1 a month so that we got a Gematria army invested, and we can just drop the tier to $1 a month, and nobody has to pay more than $1 a month to get all the content. What is my opinion on the Bible in light of all the missing books? Well, what do you think my opinion is? It's obviously been tampered with, and, obviously to hide truth. It's like, clearly the story in the Apocryphal is about Methuselah and having the albino child born. There's a reason they took that out of the Bible. The physical descriptions of people missing. So, and again, people need to think about the Bible. Who is it that's behind the printing of the Bible? The first printed Bibles were Gutenberg Bibles. Look at hold on. You see how Gutenberg is 4545 in the reduction cipher, just like Holy Bible? 4545. Holy's 4 letters, Bible's 5 letters, 9 letters total. When you add 1 through 9, it's 45. 9 represents completion in numerology. The first printed Bibles are Gutenberg Bibles. Gutenberg 45, like Holy Bible. And if you write out Gutenberg Bible, it's 66 in the most pure cipher, like the 66 books in the Bible. The 78 stands out too because the Bible begins with Genesis, where the 78th verse is Genesis 3:22 about the tree of life, which is in reference to Kabbalah. And 78 is also a Jesuit number. Think about the Catholic Church and its influence over what we know of the Bible. The Catholic Church does everything by this code. The other thing about Gutenberg is, well, you see the 144? Jesuit order is 144. Donald Trump, he went to the Jesuit Fordham University 52 years before becoming president-elect. He met with the Jesuit Pope on the 144th day of the year. But the other thing about the name Gutenberg, when you use the cipher that's in tribute to Greek isopsephy and Hebrew gematria, Gutenberg is 666. This is our first printed Bible. 666 is the number of the beast. I've been very consistent about my message about religion the whole time. You can read the Bible. There's good stuff in there, stuff to take away, stuff to live by. But there's all sorts of, stuff that's confusing and misleading and hard to interpret. And just look at what religion's done in the world. All it's done is, divide people, confuse people, make people think they're better than other people. I shouldn't say that's all it's ever done, but I mean, that's what it's done for the majority of humanity. So I always just say, look, God doesn't make books. Man makes books. Man writes books. And in modern times, books are usually full of information that's meant to make people think a certain way and believe a certain way. All of us should know that from going to public school and reading books about what a great man Christopher Columbus was. And it was okay that he came over here and started the seeds of a genocide because then it made the greatest, freest nation ever. you know. So and again, I mean, look at how many people have come to my work over the years and said, "Oh, what you're doing is witchcraft. This is sorcery." It's just like, no, I'm sharing knowledge about how world elite are screwing us all over and doing it by a code, you know? So, and I'm not ever forecasting the world. It's not like I'm going, "Ooh, you know, this is going to happen." You know, when I make predictions, it's because these people work by consistent patterns and you know, I'm just trying to expose how they work. And oftentimes, if you make a prediction and it's correct, it helps wake people up and makes a lot of people go, okay, this really is true. I mean, if you survey the majority of people who've been following me for years, they say the reason I started listening to your work is because you predicted this correctly, or you predicted this correctly, or you predicted this correctly. So I'm just doing what I got to do to get the knowledge out there and get people to listen. You know, if I didn't have to make predictions to make people listen, then I wouldn't. And anyway. So, first ambient girl writes, how many ciphers are there other than the base 4? I don't know. Oh, looks like my camera froze. It likes to do that. How many ciphers are there other than the base 4? There's an author. Her name's Faith Giovanni. There's this book, Divine Triangle, Faith Giovanni. I think that's how she spelled her name. This book right here. In this book, she uses, it's this one. She uses one Gematria cipher, the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology. So this dark blue cipher. This is the only cipher she touches in the book. But in the book, she writes that there's over 100 ciphers in use of the English language. So Derek, who built Gematrinator, he heard me say that a long time ago, and he started trying to figure out other ciphers. Because when Derek came, or before Derek came along, the only ciphers that I was talking about was were these right here. These were the 4 ciphers that I knew about before Derek came along. The alphabetic order with the rules of numerology, Jewish Gematria, and Sumerian Gematria. And the only other cipher I was aware of on the web that had another cipher that I didn't really understand at the time, but now I do, is that one where Gutenberg is 666. The calculator at the website Writing the Beast has this cipher. So before Derek came along, these were like the only ciphers that you could really find anywhere on the web. But Derek went to town and did research and started to figure out other ciphers. Oh, actually, I take it back. There was one other cipher I knew about, Francis Bacon. So these were all the ciphers I knew about before Derek came around. I never used this one, though, the dark yellow one. I'd mostly just talk about these two. And sometimes I'd comment on these other ones. But Derek went and researched and found other ciphers. For those of you who are familiar with Marty Leeds, the cipher he teaches is this one, septenary. That's the one he likes. Marty Leeds says that this cipher, the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology, is false, even though Manly P. Hall, Faith Giovanni, other people who've written about this subject, this is the cipher they go to. You know, Marty Leeds would tell you that it's a coincidence that the ref who's officiating Super Bowl 53, he'd tell you it's a coincidence that his name equals 53 in that cipher. So, poor Marty. PlayStation says water on a spinning ball makes no sense to him, to be honest. So here, PlayStation, I got a scientific experiment for you that you can prove that water sticks to a ball. If you have a ball, a basketball will work. If you have a basketball and you put water on it and you make it so it spins at one full rotation over 24 hours, which is hardly moving at all, you'll notice drips of water stick to that basketball as it spins. They'll stay on there. And the depth of those drops of water on the basketball, comparing that to the depth of the ocean, the drops of water that stay on that basketball, they're even deeper than the ocean are in terms of, you know, keeping all things relative. So you can prove in your own house that water will stick to a ball that's in the spinning at the rate of one rotation per day. And of course, that's not the exact same experiment as what's supposedly going on with our Earth. And that's the other thing. I just don't get why so many people act like it's so insane that we're on, a spinning rock that's orbiting the sun, once every year. I mean, to me, it seems like, yeah, that does seem like what's going on. We got, seasons and day and night, and we're on this perfect, you know, rotation, 4 seasons, day and night every single day. I don't know. To me, it makes more sense. I don't know how you can, I don't know how you could have these things happen on a flat Earth. So. The flat Earth, it's just the conversation that takes over every chat. It doesn't matter if the nobody's even talking about flat Earth. It just comes up because again, it's the most viral thing in the truth community since it hit in 2015, and it's been a super divisive topic. Jennifer says she was in the Navy. She knows it's not flat. She's been all over the oceans. What I see in the flat Earth community is a lot of people that are using improper math to prove their points and unrealistic perspective. I had a guy, because I have this Gematria hotline. I get a call from 2 or 3 flat earthers a week, I would say, and they always want to persuade me to the flat Earth. And one guy's argument was, he said, when you go in your backyard, is it curved? And I said, well, dude, my backyard's like 60 feet long. I mean, come on, dude. I mean, it's just like they don't have the perspective. They just have these crazy arguments. What's the difference between each cipher? Well, they're all using a different counting system. Again, just with the 4-base ciphers. Oh, it's going to do this. Oh my. Hold on. How many times do I got to refresh it? 5, 6. The 6th time's the charm. Oh my goodness. Okay. So again, all you really need to know are these 4-base ciphers. The dark green's the alphabetic order. A is 1 up to Z, the 26th letter is 26. The next cipher is the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology. So notice A still 1, B still 2, C still 3. It changes when you get to J, the 10th letter. The numerology of 10 is 1 plus 0 is 1. The next letter, K, the 11th, becomes 1 plus 1 is 2. You do the same thing all the way up to Z. You just make each letter a single-digit number. And then this cipher is the reverse alphabetic order. Z is 1 back to A is 26. And then the last cipher is the reverse alphabetic order with the rules of numerology. So those are the 4 to really know. The next cipher worth knowing outside of the base ciphers is Jewish Gematria. And if you come to Gematrinator, you'll notice down below, it gives you this thing, and it shows you what the letter values are for each. And this is true for anyone. So like if I want to see what it is for this, I just click the reverse ordinal, and then it shows me the chart for that. But for Jewish, what the Jewish cipher is the letters of English in the order they used to be in the Latin alphabet, because the letters in English come from Latin and they used to be in a different order. And then it counts 1 through 9, and then it goes 10 through 90, and then 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800. Well, Derek did this. He made ampersand 800. That's not actually part of the traditional Jewish cipher, but Derek made that judgment call. If you look at most Jewish Gematria charts, it just skips 800. And goes to 900. So Derek got kind of clever with the Jewish ciphers and added some of his own input, but that's how that works. And then another cipher worth knowing is English extended Gematria, and that's using the alphabetic order 1 through 9, then 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, all the way up to 90, and then 100, 200, 300, 400. You see how it goes? So these ciphers worth knowing. Another cipher that's really interesting is Satanic Gematria. All that happens here is you just start with A is 36. And look at this. If you write out Satanic Gematria, it equals 666. That's the 36th triangular number. Meaning if you add 1 through 36, it equals 666, and the cipher begins at 36. So you can really start to see how cleverly thought out the English language is and how all of these ciphers are interrelated. And I talk about this in the book and how they're built on top of each other and how they're used as a system. What are they hiding in Antarctica? I think that's a fair question. I think all sorts of things could be hidden there. You know, it's obvious that we're lied to about all sorts of things. Antarctica, it's the most frozen place on the planet, so it's going to have the most preserved things from the old world. And who knows what they're hiding? I don't know. The reason I talk about gematria, you guys, is because I can prove what I'm talking about when I use this knowledge. So many people in the truth community, and it seems like it's the bigger draw to talk about things that you speculate on or hearsay, or you have to use your imagination. Because, I mean, a lot of people that do this, they have way bigger following than me. I try to make all of my work evidence-based so I can prove my points and how I can show how systematically things are done the same way again and again. I don't talk about things that I can't prove, you know. I can't pretend to know what's in Antarctica, but I can use logic and say, well, I imagine things are hidden there. You know, there's a reason they don't want us to go there. And we can all understand why things would be preserved there. Again, because it's frozen. It's the best way to preserve things in this world that we know of. That's why we have freezers. So, what's that guy who made the film They Live? He also made the film The Thing. You've never seen The Thing, you know, The Thing they find up in Antarctica. If you've never seen the movies They Live or The Thing, you should watch both of them. John Carpenter, that's what the guy's name is who made both those movies. Those movies are related in a way. So They Live, The Thing. Check it out. My dad called me this morning, speaking of movies, and he's like, hey, I was watching this movie called Knowing, and it reminded me of you. I said, yeah, exactly. I said, what do you think they put that movie out there for? It's funny, I was telling my dad how the Super Bowl is going to be all about 26. He asked me if I was going to watch the Pro Bowl. I said, no, I never watched the Pro Bowl. He's like, oh, I don't have anything else to watch. It's all my dad lives for in his free time is to watch sports games. So I'm sure my dad was dying when the AFC won with 26 points today. Oh, man. If you guys have never seen the movie Knowing, you should definitely check that out. Hey, this made me laugh. Somebody said somebody told me to watch this video about the flat Earth the other day. I was like, are they sending me this as a joke? Flat Earth in 2 minutes and 23 seconds. I was like, you got to be kidding me. Because flat Earth theory equals 223. And so does the Synagogue of Satan. And so does Masonic. And again, Zion, flat Earth. The home of flat Earth in the United States is Zion, Illinois. You know, this sign used to be up in Zion, Illinois. No one except a low-down scoundrel, a person lower than the dirtiest dog, yes, lower down than a skunk, would call the earth a globe in Zion City. So, just remind you. Somebody says, why would being in the Navy give you any information on flat Earth? Because these people sail the seas. I mean, don't you think she would have seen the ice wall? And think about flat Earth theory came out around the same time Game of Thrones. What's up, caller?
Hello?
Yeah, you're on.
Hey, what's up, Zach? I remember we were talking about Tesla and Trump, and I was doing some more research about Tesla and Trump. Did you ever heard of the book called The Last President?
The Last President.
It's called 1900 or The Last President. It was published in 1896, and the author name is Ingersoll Lockwood.
That's the one with Behrendt Trump in it. Is that right?
Yeah. He wrote books about Behrendt Trump in the late 1900s. Yes.
Okay.
Have you heard about? Have you any decoded on that?
It's been a couple years since I talked about it, but yeah, I remember it in the past.
Well, you know that the author, he died on September 30th, so that's a 93 right there. So 93 is like Saturn, and when you decode his full name, Ingersoll Lockwood, it's 88 in reversible reduction, and that is time. That's about time. And it says said about in one of the books about the Behrendt Trump, it was called Behrendt Trump Marvelous Underground Journey, and it said the book was about him finding some secret tunnel in Russia or something, so he can time travel, go back in time and stuff like that. I just thought that was very interesting that this guy would write a book about Behrendt Trump in the late 1900s and write a book about the last president during that time.
Was it the late 1800s or late 1900s? You mean 1800s?
Well, in 1896 would be the late 1900s, right?
That'd be the late 1800s.
Well, 1896. That's when the last president was published.
Okay.
So that was like the thing about it, from 1896 to the 2016 presidential election was 116 years, right? That was the 116 presidential election, right?
I'm tired right now, but yeah, something like that. 120 years.
So
120 years.
No, from 1896, from 1896 to 2016. That's 116 years, right?
I think it's 120 years.
100 and...
Illuminati equals 120. Inauguration day is January 20th, 1/20, 120. It makes sense.
Okay, so I just thought it was interesting that this guy wrote this book during that time. And plus, they said he was in the New York State militia. He was part of the army and stuff like that. So it's just like you say, they do their stuff like 50 or 100 years ahead of time. So basically, they're writing the seeds for Trump during that time. We didn't even know. 100 years from now, we didn't even know what was going on.
Right. Yeah. So he was born for the throne, named accordingly.
And just the fact that the author died September 30th, and the 93 just stick out to me with that.
Right, the Saturn number, time number.
And the Behrendt, and him talking about Russia. He had talking about going to Russia and what Trump problem is with Russia right now. So I just thought that was very interesting. So the more you look for this information, the more information you find out that they hide from us.
Yeah, absolutely.
And one thing, when you're talking about how we gonna fight this, the only way we can fight them, somebody will have to infiltrate their system. That's the only way. We have to technology and mental and spiritual, because we can't fight them physically, because they got all the weapons to destroy us if they want to. They got weapons we don't even know about. They can just wipe us out with. So somebody have to infiltrate their structure. Somebody have to be a whistleblower. And we see ain't nobody gonna be a whistleblower to get that deep into that system to find out what's really going on and let the people know.
Right.
So we have to work like them to infiltrate them. That's how I see it.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
All right, so I just wanted to bring up that point about that the last president and that Behrendt Trump books and how interesting it was about that.
Yeah, great observation. I hadn't thought about the 120 thing before, so it got even more interesting.
All right, Seth.
All right, you have a good night, man. Thanks for the call.
All right.
Yeah, that is interesting. 1896 to 2016 is 120 years. Illuminati with the alphabetic order is 120. And inauguration day is 120. So, and in light of the teacher being on that, you guys are talking about the Challenger shuttle explosion, and they're making a big deal about the 33-year anniversary. Remember, in our most pure cipher, teacher's 33, and in numerology, 33 is the master teacher number. So, I think that's part of the reason they're talking about the 33-year anniversary. Somebody said, love this channel, but how do I know what the truth is? Well, you got to use your own mind. You got to see what makes sense. Where's the evidence? Nobody's going to know all the truth in this world. There's some things that just aren't meant to be known. So, thanks, Mesa Call. Quantum of Conscience. I'm going to have to check out that channel. I don't know it. 120 years is 1,440 months. Like there's 1,440 minutes in a day. Yeah, it's interesting. We're in the Islamic year 1440 right now. We're in the Islamic year 1440. That started September 11th, 2018. Yeah, maybe RBG's not going to go today, but it's going to be soon. Today would have been a fitting day, but there'll be days that are just as fitting. So, yeah, I wouldn't doubt that the Challenger crew's all alive. You know, I mean, it's always weird how a lot of these astronauts have twins. It's like, what's up with that? Why do they all have twins? What are the odds of that? I mean, twins aren't that common in society. Yeah, it's very possible that they just launched a rocket up there and blew it up right on the second that they planned to. Again, they blew up the Challenger at the 73rd second, NASA 73, Mason 73, Sacrifice 73. That's a good thought there, McEstes. And it's always, I mean, if RBG does go today, it might be something that they save for the news cycle on Monday to kick off the week. So it's obvious that it's not far off, though, with what Fox News just did on Monday, last Monday. There's a town in Argentina where everybody's all twins. Oh, that's interesting. Somebody said, "Why do I fake debates?" I don't know what you mean by that. What fake debates are we having? I can't ever get anybody to debate me. That's the problem. Somebody says these celebrities who die, do they know what's going to happen to them? Well, I don't. I would imagine that in some cases, no, and in some cases, yes. You know, Prince certainly knew. He recorded the song "I Would Die for You" with the number 4 and the letter U in 1983, 33 years before his death on 421, and used the 21st letter. So 4U is 421. I would die for you. Dies 421, not an accident. And his death was synced up with Vanity. After Vanity died before the 58th Grammys, we were able to say, look, Prince is going to die soon. You can see it, what's encoded in these numbers. I was never running for president. I was trying to raise money to get money to go on a book tour, but the fundraiser got frozen almost as fast as I started it. And then a bunch of people took the that's what I worry about people, because you know when I started that money to raise the money for the book tour, everyone was showing the picture, and it's like campaign to raise money for book tour, and then people were making videos saying Zachary K. Hubbard's raising money to run for president, and I was like, can people not read the words that are right on the screen? It says money for book tour right there. You guys talking about for president, so I guess everybody who repeats that line, it's like, man, you really got to use your eyes. Oh. Well, the thing is, James, most people have no idea what the count is of championships for the AFC and NFC, and they're not paying attention to anything we're talking about. So the score 26-7 doesn't mean anything to 99% of the football fans out there. New York didn't legalize child sacrifice. Did you guys see the video I did for that? They made that decision on January 22nd, the 46-year anniversary of Roe versus Wade. Abortion equals 122, like January 22nd, 1/22. That law just made it so that babies can be aborted literally up until the last day if the mother's life is in jeopardy. So, you know, the point of that law is if it's going to be either the mother or the baby, the mother has a choice to decide if she wants to essentially sacrifice the baby to preserve her own life. But that's not, I wouldn't say that, that's a law legalizing child sacrifice. I don't think that's a fair way to frame it. But no doubt they did that on the anniversary of Roe versus Wade for the whole abortion thing, which just goes to show you how all of these laws are done ritualistically. And it's no accident that Roe versus Wade was decided on January 22nd, 122. Thanks, Suave TV, for signing up on Patreon. Again, I'm trying to get 10,000 people signed up there at $1 a month. That way you'll be able to participate live in the nightly podcast, which begins tomorrow, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 Eastern. Hillary Clinton, I don't think she'll run again. She's done. About Handsome Truth. He's I got to give credit where it's due. I saw that he went out and above a freeway overpass, he made a big sign and it said Google dancing Israelis. I mean, if everybody did that in the entire nation, there'd be a whole lot more people woke up by the next day to some of the things that went down on September 11th. But yeah, I'm a little bit suspicious of Handsome Truth. I mean, so there's this sudden uprising of channels that are going against Zionism after YouTube's pretty much gotten rid of all the channels that were exposing Zionism. And like Handsome Truth, he's real abrasive. It's almost like he's helping give reason to why there needs to be greater censorship on YouTube. And yeah, I don't know. He just came out of the woodwork, and his tactics don't make sense in light of what's been going on. And then there's also, the guy who's greener than green. And I mean, he also came out of the woodwork, so. Did you guys see the fake story of a guy hit by a tranny with axe? I did not. What's up, Destiny? Huh. So Camilla Harris used to have a different name, huh? That's interesting. Sort of like Kabbalah. Sony Michel, not only is he number 26, but the Super Bowl's 351 days after his birthday. So, find out what the relationship is between 351 and 26. And I don't want to do it for you. I've talked about it a million times. It's in my book. But if you go to Gematria and you go to Tools and you go to Number Properties, and then you type in number 351 and click Search, it'll show you what the relationship is with 26. And keep in mind, he's from Georgia, where the Super Bowl is, and he was just in the college championship where Alabama beat his team with 26 points. So, and when you start to look at things like that, you can really understand just how scripted all this is. And what I've been saying for years, that a lot of these players on the field are born and bred to be, because the way their birthdays always line up with the biggest games of their career. It could only be that way if it was all planned long in advance. Thoughts on Hitler? Was he part of the New World Order agenda? Seemingly he was. And I almost feel like what they did with Hitler was they used him to put out a lot of truthful statements about what's going on in the world with his planned demise and with the plan of after the war using Hitler and teaching the world that he's the most horrible and evil person that ever lived. Thus, in turn, all of these true things he said get flushed down the toilet with him. And, you know, for example, Hitler came out and said one of the first things Hitler did when he came to power is he shut down all the Masonic lodges. He said that, you know, within these secret societies, there's people who are conspiring against the common people. And I mean, it looks like he was right. So I don't know the answer to your question, Destiny Lord. Destiny Lord writes, do these shills, are they part of the satanic agenda? And she names a call for an uprising. Now, a call for an uprising about 2 years ago said that he knew about satanic sacrifice because his sister was sacrificed by Satanists. And I'm just like, well, what aren't you telling about this story? I mean, was your sister in a satanic cult? How do you know about this? Your family? And he got real angry when I asked him to elaborate on that story. He said he was going to murder me. But yeah, I don't know. I wonder about this shill network. Let me see. We got a caller here from New York. What's going on, caller?
Hey, how you doing, Zach? It's Denim.
What's up, Denim?
Did you say Sony Michelle's birthday was 351 days before the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Could you believe that Super Bowl most valuable player equals 351 in English ordinal?
Hey, you're on Patreon. Did you not see the video I put out today? But that is funny.
Yeah, I did. It's literally 351. Super Bowl most valuable player. No joke.
That's crazy. English. That's crazy.
Yes, sir. Just wanted to give you that tip.
All right, keep it up. All right, great work, Denim.
All right, gotcha.
Take care, man. See, that's also the nice thing about being part of my Patreon. There's people like Denim there who are contributing every day. And, you know, I wish there was a way on Patreon that you could just, like, make some people's accounts free so they didn't have to pay each month because they contribute so much. Like, Denim is a guy, like, I would like to do that for. There's some really good contributors there. And again, you can become part of this community. Now, the warning about my Patreon page is there's a lot of trolls there too, which sucks. It's because we're exposing things that make billion-dollar industries look bad. But if there were 10,000 people there pledged at $1 a month, you know, the community would drown out the trolls. So, but as for these trolls in the community, I don't know what they're up to. It's obvious that there's a real shill network. I mean, I still remember the day that my house got crashed into. Remember, I had the guy in the checkerboard mask making all the videos about me, and then he put out the little threat for Christmas Eve, and then my house got crashed into. And then that whole network of shills. You know, as soon as I uploaded the video showing the damage, they, like 20 different channels, a lot of them with a ton of subscribers, made videos saying I crashed a car into my own house. Like, that makes any sense. And I just said, look at this. I mean, look at how all these channels are actively attacking me. I've never even done anything to these channels. It's like they should be spreading this work. Instead, they're all working to go after me. And for the record, the guy in the mask, in that same video where he made the threat, he talked about how he employed Richie from Boston. And Richie from Boston at the time didn't have that many subscribers. You know, it was all around the same time that Richie from Boston guaranteed he was going to surpass me, which didn't make any sense. And then all of his sudden his channel went from like 10,000 subscribers to 50,000, and now it's like at 300,000, which is insane. But, you know, retard from Boston, he made like 3 videos about my house being crashed into. Anyway, I just saw a retard from Boston over on Adam Green's channel writing all these condolence messages and how it's so sad that he's being attacked. This is how you guys see the shill network. I'm telling you, anybody who goes against me, you can just see who the real shills are. Retard from Boston who attacked me when my house was crashed into. Now he's over. So sorry for Adam Green because somebody posted a tweet saying he looked like the guy who set the pizza place on fire. I mean, come on. Like, is that even a big deal? Versus being like having your physical residence attacked. Plus, retard from Boston was then posting my address online. You know, and all he was mad about was that I exposed him for his little scam trying to rip off his subscribers, which he still does to this day. Notice what retard from Boston's up to. He's always telling some story about some homeless lady he met that he needs to raise money for so he can give it to the, it's just like, yeah, right, dude. Like, you're raising money for other people. You are such a fraud. So, yeah, I don't know if these people are satanic or what, but there's definitely something wrong with a lot of the bigger channels in the YouTube community. They're scammers, they're liars, they're allied. A lot of them have gone after me over the years, but, you know, beware. Yeah, we really do need to get out on the street. Saradwin says Brandon O'Connell's advocating we get out on the streets. Yeah, we need to, but so many people, it's hard because, you know, they have to work, they got families, they don't have any extra time. Somehow we have to figure out how to break those chains so more people can do things like that. I'm no reverend. Yeah, that's true. Truth in Me says, how do you get my book? Well, if you go to the description of the video, there should be a link right at the top to get the book, or you can go to Etsy.com. And when you get to Etsy, just search letters and numbers like this. Do a search for letters and numbers, and it's this bright green one right here. It's got 135 reviews at the moment. Just click that. And just realize it says right here, instant digital download. You know, about 5 times a week, somebody will buy the book and they'll say, hey, I'm still waiting for this to show up in my mailbox. I'm saying, well, unfortunately, that's not going to happen. It's an ebook. As soon as you buy it, you download it, and you're welcome to print it out. So, yeah, this Owen Benjamin guy that just came out of nowhere. Apparently, he's a mini celebrity. I guess he's been in some movies and stuff. And I've noticed his live streams are showing up in my feed, and it seems like he always has 5,000 people watching. But somebody asked me if I would check out his work and see what I thought. And at the moment I tuned in for the first time and the only time, he was talking about how great Alex Jones is and how Alex Jones is legit. And all these people harping on about Alex Jones are idiots. And I was just like, whoa, I'm already not impressed. And then from there, he went into some diatribe about the Clintons and sex trafficking of the Clintons. And I was just like, this guy might as well just be like Q. I mean, you know, so no, he looks like a fraud. And also, he started talking about at that moment how he only had $10,000 in his bank account. And meanwhile, I was just watching, what do they call them? The super chats. Oh my God, man. That guy, I don't know. I wasn't there that long. I might have been watching for 10 minutes at the most. He must have made at least $400 in the 10 minutes I was there in super chats. $50 donation, $25 donation, $40 donation, $10 donation, $5. It was just nonstop. It was just like a flow of super chats. And it seems that these big channels that get super chats like that, I mean, like, how long have I been on here? And you guys don't give me any super chats. I don't want any. But, you know, I've been on here for how long? I don't have a single super chat. And that's fine because I don't want any. I'd rather you donate through the PayPal or pick up the book. But I just noticed a lot of these big channels, man, they just get tons of super chats. You know, I think that's the way, like, the shill network's getting paid, honestly. I think that's the way he's getting his compensation. And apparently he's getting paid a lot to get on here and just talk nonsense. So the one thing I can say pause about him is he plays the piano, and he was playing the piano a little bit. That's cool. Made me think, man, I got to learn to play an instrument. That could get more people to listen. But No, I wasn't impressed at all with his content. Repping Alex Jones, playing into the, the stereotypical things in this community. It wasn't for me. Uh-oh, the chat did the skip thing. Welcome, Spree Guy. Thanks for being here. Well, I lost where I was when I skipped down. Simple Truth TV. He's started his own Gematria channel. Check out his work. He's doing good work. You're welcome. Mr. Cat Eye, horrible channel. Mr. Cat Eye is just the worst. I mean, his work goes nowhere. The master of false predictions. He's made multiple videos attacking me. He's just a pathetic old man, Mr. Cat Eye. I mean, he's never produced a single video worth anything, period. Horrible. Bottom of the barrel. Worthless channel. Can't emphasize it enough. Mr. Cat Eye is a joke. I can't believe some people watch this crap. It's like, what is he even talking about? His ciphers aren't based in anything. Just total nonsense channel. Total nonsense. And then he always attacks me. It's like, dude, my work adds up every single day. The things I talk about actually happen. He got real jealous because I passed him in subscribers real fast when I first came around. And people were dropping my name on his channel, and he was getting mad about it. I don't know some of these names you guys are writing. Shills are people that misdirect people from the truth. That's what a shill is. I did see the AFC Pro Bowl score. I sure did. We've been talking about how 26 is the number of this season since before it even began. PF Classic tonight. I do not know what that is. What's up, Fermenti? Poor Fermenti. He said that nobody was taking him up on his free fermentation kit, and then that video ended up getting like 50,000 views. And I think you had to give out a lot of free fermentation kits. So thanks for helping the world, man. I was just hoping that didn't make you go broke. If you guys don't know Fermenti, you better get in touch. He's got the products. Everybody should be eating fermented foods. It's really good for your digestion. It's really good for your health. Yeah, all these channels getting these big super chat donations. I mean, it just doesn't seem realistic. It seems like these are the way these guys are getting paid. And also that's favorable to the Google platform because Google's taking a big percentage of those super chats. So they're making a lot of money off that. And it's like, what's that guy who made it? Somebody pointed out, the other week that somebody called into his thing and said, hey, you should have Zachary Hubbard on here. And he's like, oh, Gematria, that's not really my thing. The guy with the cats in the background with the lispy voice. What's his name? Nathan. Lift the Veil. That guy. I tuned in one day and he was talking about what he'd rather have in the Fallout world: gold, silver, or guns and bullets. And I mean, is this really that important of a conversation? But anyway, while he was talking about what he'd rather have, like people are like, oh, this is awesome. And then $100 donation, $200 donation, $50 donation. I was like, really? I was like, man, I don't believe it. Something is up with these channels. You're dismissing Gematria. You're talking about stuff that's really not that important. Plus, you're giving bad advice. He said in the Fallout world, he'd rather have gold and silver. Dude, little guy like that with gold and silver and no guns and bullets. Guess who's going to be getting their gold and silver taken from him? You know. I did talk about the police officer who was shot, the female police officer. She was killed on the date with 44 and 64 numerology, January 24th. And I can't remember everything off the top of my head, but again, Kill has that Gematria 44 and 64, Officer 44. There were a number of other things to that story, but I covered that the January 24th podcast. So what was that? Episode 56, I think. Oh my goodness, Fermenti. So Fermenti had to spend $500 out of his own pocket to fulfill. That was nice of you, man. That was nice of you. Hopefully that brings you back some good business. Richard says, please answer. Since the people in power who have all of the information are worshiping Satan, doesn't that mean that this is all really a battle of Satan and God, and that both exist? Well, I think everything is a battle of good versus evil, which is another way to phrase that. And I wouldn't say that, it's like they spread their belief systems through mainstream culture, movies, music, entertainment. And it's like essentially those of us in the truth community who see what's going on, it's our job to help, fight back, the perversion of society. And essentially that's what I see, this work is doing, helping people see what's really going on in the world, what the agenda is, why people need to take their minds out of the gutter, why they need to stop caring so much about entertainment and more about truth. So, yeah, I'd say that is pretty much what the battle is, and you got to decide which side of the fight you're going to be on. And I think so many people who are on the wrong side of the fight, they don't really ultimately understand what they're participating in and becoming a part of, The only book sales that are counted in the number are just the ones on Etsy, because I can't show, I can't prove how many book sales are through Patreon. So the Etsy numbers are the only ones that are counted. People always ask me that. Are we living in a simulation? I don't think we are, but it's possible. I mean, anything's possible. To me, it seems that they encode this stuff daily as a form of programming. It's like they're trying to build a matrix of misinformation around us, and this is how they do it. Uh-oh, it did that skip thing again. Sorry if I'm skipping your guys' questions. When it does this skip thing, I lose track of where I was. I don't really want to go on Lift the Veil because, I mean, I don't even really care to talk to that guy. He's just an idiot, honestly. I mean, he doesn't really have anything, and he just has like this ho-hum attitude, And plus, I always offend people when I say this, but look, if you didn't see through the lies of 9/11 the day it happened, you probably shouldn't be speaking out about anything. I don't even care if you woke up sometime after the fact. I mean, if you didn't see through it the day it happened, you're probably not where you need to be sharing information in this world. And maybe I'm wrong about that, but I've heard Nathan and a lot of these other truth channels say, oh yeah, I didn't even see through 9/11 the day it happened. I'm like, yeah, I'm not surprised either. You still don't see the relevance in Gematria after what I've been proving for 5 years. You're a little bit slow. So I grew up in Portland, James, so guess what my favorite teams were? I'm from Portland, Oregon. Sure, I've been wrong about many things. It looks like I might be wrong about Ruth Bader Ginsburg kicking the bucket today. But I've been right about a lot more than I've been wrong about, that's for sure. And the most important thing that I've been right about is this knowledge, and that it's being used every single day to deceive us. I mean, that's the one thing to take away here. This knowledge and applying it. Let's go out to Las Vegas. What's up, caller?
Hey, Zach.
Hey.
Yeah, so this is calling from Vegas, and I was just calling to tell you about the whole 9/11 thing you were just going over, and how scripted it actually was. I seen a recent video of a guy named Mark Pasio. I don't know if you're familiar with his work or not.
I am.
Oh, you said you are?
Yep.
Oh, okay, that's awesome, because he does really, really good work on natural law and exposing how, you know, all this thing is scripted by government and Satanists, and he's actually a former Satanist himself. So,
Right.
He actually did a video on 9/11 exposing how the truth about that worked, and one of the things he went over was that so there's actually a thing with the two towers, how in the middle it was a third tower in the middle, and the two towers went down, and it's like it's a ritual in the human consciousness, how both towers went down. And I can't remember, but if you look on, I don't know if you're familiar with tarot cards or not, but one of the tarot cards actually matches how 9/11.
I know it does. It's in my book. It's in my book on the chapter on September 11th.
Yeah. So it's a trip. It's really a trip, and it's just crazy how most people don't see how this whole thing is scripted and encoded, and it just blows my mind, man. It blows my mind. It really does. And you know, also, not even just that, not even just the whole 9/11 thing. It's most of these false flag shootings. I'm from Vegas, and it's funny because I live right around the corner from where the shooting happened. The massive shooting happened. I don't live too far from here, and when it happened, you know, being from here, I just knew instantly that something was not right about the shooting, and that instantly I knew that this thing must have been scripted. And you know.
So I got a question. Were you following me before that happened? Because that entire year up to that weekend, I told people countless times to circle that weekend because I thought we'd see the biggest false flag in the U.S. since 9/11, and that's pretty much what the Vegas shooting was.
Yeah, it's crazy. No, I actually wasn't following you at that time. And actually,
so what people need to know is that came right after Yom Kippur, which is the Jewish Day of Atonement for your sins. And the lineup with Yom Kippur and the numbers that year was super powerful, and that's why I was on to that weekend. And look, Yom Kippur is about atonement for your sins. What got shot up? Sin City. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Crazy. That's insane. I wish I had been following you then. I would have probably foreseen this coming, and I could have been warning people, hey, don't, you know, look out for this. And, you know, because when it happened, things happen, but when they happen so close to you, when they happen so close to home, it really just terrifies you. It really wakes you up to see what's really going on in the world. And believe it or not, when that happened, that's actually what made me go deeper into truth. And maybe that's one of the things that helped me discover your channel, because once that happened, it really just changed the overall mindset of me. Said, hey, I need to find out more truth. I need to find out more information. And that's when things started coming to light for me. And I ended up finding this channel. I ended up finding many other channels. And I really started to get to see the bigger picture of what's actually going on in this world, and what really needs to be done. This is no longer about you know, just working a 9 to 5 and trying to make a living. This is much bigger than that. It's so much bigger and so much more, you know. And you know, what you do, I mean, people need to start waking up to it. I mean, as a matter of fact, at this point, like you said multiple times, if people haven't woke up to this by now, it's shame on them because we're too late in our human consciousness development for people not to be understanding this. You know, it's a little bit too late for that. I mean, there's so many things happening. If you don't understand what's going on in the world right now, you know, it's a trip. But anyway, I just wanted to call in and tell you that because, like I said, when you mentioned the 9/11 thing, and I just recalled so many things that I read about before, and specifically the 9/11 thing and the Vegas shooting. And like you said, you already had information on it before, and if people would have known this code, a lot of these people could have been, avoided or saved from, being shot and killed at this event, So, crazy, man.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you found the work, man, and glad you woke up, and I appreciate your call.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. And I'll probably, I'll call again and, probably, put some more inputs in and probably try to help on the Patreon and the decode. And I am signed up for your Patreon. Actually, just to see the free book from you today or yesterday in the email, it's like 773 pages long. It's the ebook. And I just downloaded it, so I'm going to read that and, figure out more because I've only known about your channel for a few months now. So it's taking me a while to get used to the code and, figure out how everything works. Because there's a lot of coding involved in it. So, yeah.
Right. Well, I appreciate it, friend.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Zach. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. You have a good night. Take care.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a ton to the Vegas shooting, but that's probably the most important prediction I've made to date is that weekend and looking out for it to be the biggest false flag in the U.S. since 9/11, which I'd say it pretty much was. And again, it had everything to do with the way Yom Kippur lined up that year. And notice Yom Kippur has this Gematria 99, Sin City's 99. Remember how they had the 13 tattooed on the neck of the shooter in the photos, but it wasn't really there? There's a whole lot more to it. Yom Kippur and the moon and the way everything lined up, the moon goes through 13 cycles. There were so many things to that concert shooting. The Route 91 Harvest Festival on the day leaving 91 days left in the year. If you add 1 through 13 together, it equals 91. Hugh Hefner's death was just before it on the Jesuit order's birthday. He's got the street down there in Vegas named after him. His death was part of that ritual. Fermenti had to give out 300 free kits. Crazy. That's awesome you did that, man. Why the Russian Revolution was set in motion? I think they just needed a genocide of that population, probably too resistant and stubborn to the agenda. So they need a different group of people there. Well, it's a Sunday. It's a Sunday. 27 is not the chaos number. 19 is. Yeah, graphic design team, that would be cool. No, Fox uses it just as much as CNN. There's no difference. BBC, they all do it. MSNBC probably does less than CNN and Fox, though. But Fox and CNN, they're on the same level. Yeah, NPR does it, absolutely. I hear my lady in the background. She's about to tell me to come in here and wrap it up. So we'll sign off here. Thanks for everyone for participating. Remember, $1 a month. That'll get you all the nightly podcasts, and then you can call in live. If you don't got $1 a month, you'll still be able to listen to the podcast because once it's over, I'll release it for everybody. But again, the reason that I want you guys to pledge $1 and the reason I want to get this up to $10,000 a month is because so I can hire somebody and pay them a good salary and know I have enough money to keep paying them a salary. And I do suspect that this number is going to go down quite a bit once the Super Bowl's over, because a lot of people are here just for football picks all season. You know, won a lot of money for a lot of people for the NFL season. My lady's looking at me all concerned. Oh no, it's going to go down. But you know, we should be able to get 10,000 people here at $1 a month. I know there's 10,000 people out here who know this work is worth it. So, all right, you guys have a great rest of your night. Thank you for the well wishes. Thanks, Sarah. Yeah, we'll be back with Gematria School as soon as I'm done with the book. The next Gematria School lesson is going to be about using all of the calendars together as a system. So, appreciate all the support. I'd have to go back. I talked about I didn't say that it would be in Vegas. I just said we'll see the biggest false flag in the U.S. since 9/11. And I probably talked about it on my radio show and countless videos. So that's not true. All right, you guys. Have a great evening. Take care.